Welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars, the place where glitter turns into gasp-worthy stories and every whisper finds a heartbeat. I hope your day is glowing, because what I'm about to tell you has set timelines on fire and sent fans into a frenzy. Today, we're diving into the moment everyone is talking about, Cenk Torun stepping onto a quiet stage and singing a song called Mahasine for none other than Mahassine Merabet. Yes, you heard that right. Music, romance, and a surprise that felt like a love letter performed under the softest lights. This is the kind of tale we live for here. And before we swirl down this rabbit hole of tenderness and speculation, make sure you're subscribed to Secrets Behind the Stars so you don't miss a single heartbeat of entertainment's most spellbinding moments. Now, let's unravel how a serenade turned into a phenomenon. Picture it. An intimate showcase connected to a creative concept known as Total and Mahasine, a project designed to capture the raw spectrum of emotion through art, movement, and music. It's minimalist, it's immersive, and it thrives on vulnerability. Into that space, Cenk walks, calm, measured, eyes searching for one person. A single microphone, a guitarist barely visible behind the warm glow, and that silence so heavy you can feel the crowd holding their breath. Then he says her name. Just softly. And everyone realizes what's about to happen. Mahasine, always composed, luminous without trying, looks up, and time changes its rhythm. What follows is the kind of performance that makes even the most cynical hearts melt. The notes of Mahasine aren't loud, they don't need to be. They're intentional, carrying words that feel like secrets confessed at dusk. Whether this track is a cover or a melody written in private, the debate is still raging in the comments and across fan pages, but the intention behind it? That needs no translation. The song speaks about finding home in another person's presence, about promises made quietly but meant fiercely, about everything you never said until you finally dared to sing it. The way Cenk phrased those lines, there was a personal cadence there, a style you can't fake. He's a beloved actor, no stranger to the camera's gaze, but this was different. No character to hide behind, no script to lean on. Just a man revealing the music inside him and offering it to one woman in a room full of witnesses who suddenly felt like uninvited guests at something almost too intimate to watch. And how did Mahasine react? That is the clip that conquered every platform. She didn't dramatize it, she didn't need to. A spark of shock, a hand over the lips, then a smile that trembled like a candle in a draft. When her eyes glossed over, the camera caught a universe in those tears, gratitude, awe, and that stubborn disbelief when a dream you didn't dare articulate arrives anyway. By the time the final note faded, she stood up without a word, walked straight to him, and folded into his arms. If you listened carefully, you could hear the crowd exhale all at once. The world didn't explode, it sighed. And then the world did explode, because social media was right there waiting. Within minutes, Mahasine became a magnet for edits, translations, lyric theories, and slow-motion breakdowns of every look and every breath. Fancams bloomed like wildflowers. There were side-by-side clips comparing Cenk's warm smile at the second chorus to candid photos from weeks ago. TikTok turned that final embrace into a trending audio. On Instagram, one post practically broke the algorithm. A still frame of that first glance, captioned with a single word, finally. Was it planned? Or did it happen in a burst of courage and lightning? Turkish and MENA entertainment pages pushed two narratives in parallel. One version had Cenk rehearsing for days in secret, quietly working with a small team to shape the acoustics, to ensure the arrangement matched the room's heartbeat. Another version swore this blossomed in real time, a spontaneous promise to sing if the moment asked for it. If you ask me, it felt like both, careful intention married to a reckless willingness to be real. You don't get that kind of focus without preparation, you don't get that kind of magic without surrender. Either way, we all win. The performance also opened a door into a side of Cenk the public seldom sees. We know his screen charisma, his ability to command a scene with a glance, but this was tenderness turned into art, restraint melting into confession. Will he record a studio version? Will we see a stripped acoustic release tucked into a late-night drop without warning? The industry might crave it. Fans already do. But there's a part of me that hopes it stays exactly what it is, an artifact of a moment, a treasure forged for one person and accidentally shared with the world. And Mahasine, what a mirror she offered him in return. She's endlessly graceful, a woman who carries a long horizon behind her eyes. She has weathered bright rooms and louder whispers, and yet she moves with a gentleness that never dims. In the moment of the serenade, you could see the steadiness that defines her. She stood grounded and present, the way a lighthouse doesn't clap for the tide, it simply shines. That is their dynamic in a frame, his courage reaching out, her calm hand welcoming it home. Then came the commentary avalanche. People dug into the lyrics like archaeologists searching for sacred fragments. Some claimed the bridge referenced a private joke they once shared in an interview, noting a line about meeting at the edge of noise, and insisting it tied back to a candid red carpet quip about escaping crowds to hear each other breathe. Others insisted the chord shift in the second verse mirrored a classic love ballad from a decade ago, a subtle nod to the kind of timeless devotion they've quietly embodied. Regardless of which theory you buy, the effect was the same. Fans everywhere felt seen, like their investment in this couple had crystallized into a melody they could hum on their own bad days. Total and Mahasine, the project that hosted this entire moment, wasn't designed for spectacle, which is why the scene felt so disarming. The venue was modest, a half-moon of chairs, a dark floor kissed with gold light, an air that asked you to take off your armor at the door. According to a crew member's stray comment that later landed in a private story and promptly got screen-capped by the entire internet, the set list was fluid from the start. The organizers curated a living gallery of feelings, and performers were invited to bring an offering that felt true. If Mahasine wasn't a last-minute addition, it was at least a card close to the chest. Some say only 3 people knew ahead of time. Others say a faint rumor floated in the lobby like perfume, noticeable if you were paying attention. But let's talk about the aftermath, because that's where legends are minted. Fan pages across multiple languages posted translations of Mahasine, some literal, some poetic, all created with so much devotion it could make you emotional on its own. A Moroccan fan community layered the lyrics against desert sunsets and city lights, highlighting the cross-cultural resonance of a love that refuses to be boxed in. Turkish fans responded with threads about how Cenk's voice carried a warmth they recognized from his earliest work, the softness sharpened now by maturity. And then there were the edits, tying the serenade to older moments. A gesture he made at an award show, a glance she threw him during a backstage clip, a photo where neither noticed they were being photographed and yet somehow looked like a painting. And for every naysayer who rolled their eyes, there were 1,000 responses that didn't bother arguing, just kept celebrating. That's what true momentum looks like. People close to the couple stayed mostly quiet, a restraint that made everything feel more genuine. No PR blasts, no structured rollout. A friend of a friend floated the idea that the song title, Mahasine, is a private word that carries layered meaning, part memory, part inside joke, part promise. No one confirmed, of course. And none of us really need the dictionary for it, we felt what it meant. You could see it in the way Mahasine touched her heart at the final note. You could hear it in the way Cenk breathed before he began, like he was pulling courage up from somewhere no camera can reach. And that tension, that trembling line between what the world expects and what 2 people actually feel, is why this moment landed as hard as it did. Fame is loud. Love doesn't have to be. Yet when love chooses to speak in a crowded room, it can hush 1,000 voices. That's precisely what unfolded. Naturally, the speculation machine spun up. Will there be a public confirmation? Are they quietly engaged? Is Mahasine the opening chapter of something official? The reasonable answer is that no one knows, and maybe we don't deserve to, not yet. What we do have is a scene we can revisit, a small stage, a man who dared to sing, a woman who let herself be moved, and a room that turned into a sanctuary for a 4-minute eternity. Even days later, the ripples keep spreading. Fashion accounts inspected Mahasine's look, noting how her simplicity felt like a statement, elegance without effort, a softness that doesn't need permission. Music lovers measured the vocal choices and the guitar's subtle phrasing. Relationship optimists wrote long captions about second chances and quiet certainties. Somewhere between all the noise, a calm truth settled in. Some gestures don't demand a sequel, they become one. If you're wondering where I land on the whole plan versus spontaneous dilemma, here it is. I think Cenk prepared the bones and let the moment breathe life into them. He built a bridge and trusted the night to carry them across. That's why the performance walked the line between precision and heartbeat. That's why we can't stop talking about it. And in the end, that's why it belongs to them even though we all got to watch. We talk so often about celebrity as if it's a disguise, but sometimes it's a magnifying glass. In those few minutes, we saw the best version of visibility, art used the way it should be used, to say what's too big for ordinary language. Maybe we'll get a studio version. Maybe Mahasine will appear as a surprise track one midnight, a gift to the same people who turned this moment into a movement. Or maybe it will live where it started, in the hush between two heartbeats and the kind of memory that glows brighter in the retelling. Either way, we're not going to forget it. So tell me what you felt watching it. Did it catch you off guard the way it did the rest of us? Did you read the lyrics as a pledge, a confession, or a beautiful blend of both? I'm dying to see your theories in the comments, especially the ones that connect tiny details. His glance in the second verse, the exact second she reached for him, the way the crowd disappeared into a gentle blur. Your insight is the secret engine of this community, and here at Secrets Behind the Stars, we love nothing more than turning your heartbeat into our headline. If this story made you smile, tear up, or believe a little more in the alchemy of music and love, tap that like button. Share this with the friend who needs a reminder that real romance still exists, even under the harsh lights and constant scrutiny. And if you're new here, welcome to the place where we treat every moment like it's worth savoring. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and let us guide you from whisper to wonder, one revelation at a time. For now, we'll leave you with the image that won the internet, Cenk Torun, voice steady with feeling, and Mahassine Merabet, eyes shining like a yes she didn't have to say out loud. This wasn't a chart stunt or a PR scheme, it was something simpler and braver, a song sung with intention, and a love brave enough to listen. Thank you for watching, for feeling, for being the best audience any channel could dream of. We'll be back in the next video with more stories that shimmer long after they end. Until then, take care of your heart, hold on to the good, and remember, here at Secrets Behind the Stars, the best secrets are always the ones that make you believe.